20,000 as the Nigeria Center for Disease Control announced 436 new infections on Sunday. The center also announced 12 more coronavirus-related deaths. Lagos recorded 169 cases, followed by Oyo State with 52 cases. 17 other states, including the Federal Capital Territory, shared the rest of the cases. 6,879 patients have been discharged, while 518 persons have died. The World Health Organization has declared Nigeria polio-virus-free. WHO says Nigeria has recorded remarkable progress and should do all to ensure the epidemic does not return. Nigeria has not had a case of poliovirus since 2014, and all laboratory data have confirmed there have been no new cases in a year. President Muhammadu Buhari says Nigeria's polio-free status is a reflection of the resilient spirit of Nigerians and the capacity of hardworking men and women in the health industry. The president says the landmark achievement is also a fulfillment of a promise made when he assumed office in 2015. In 2012, Nigeria accounted for more than half of all polio cases worldwide. Senate President Ahmed Lawan has asked that more resources be pushed into Nigeria's security agencies to tackle the increasing security challenges. Lawan also challenged security chiefs to brace up their efforts or lose their jobs. Lawan said this while briefing State House correspondents after he met with President Buhari over the weekend. The Senate President says it is now important for the federal government to give the security chiefs a deadline to resolve the nation's security problems. He said the National Assembly was favorably disposed to receiving a supplementary budget specially designed to address the fundamental needs of the security agencies. Lawan further said there is a need for more resources for recruitment by all security agencies. Ghana has apologized for the attack on Nigeria's High Commission's building in the country's capital, Accra. Nigerians in the country had protested against the destruction of the buildings and called on the Ghanaian authorities to act accordingly. Ghana's Foreign Affairs Ministry says the attack was a breach of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. The ministry says it regrets the demolition and investigations are ongoing to unravel the facts and bring perpetrators to book. Pastor Osage Izehanu has emerged as the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress governorship primary for the September governorship election. Chairman of the Edo primary election and governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, declared Ize Iyamu winner of the direct primary, defeating Pius Odubu and Osaro Obazi after collating results from 18 local government areas of the state. Ize Iyamu pulled 27,838 votes to defeat his closest rival, Pius Odubu, who garnered 3,776. Osaro Obazi received 2,751 votes. With this result, Ize Iyamu will face other contenders in September to determine who becomes the next Edo State governor. Coming up, African news. As Nigerian resident doctors call off strike, Tunisian health workers head for the picket lines. And later, international news. World Health Organization announces biggest one-day global jump in COVID-19 cases.
You are watching ANN.
Hey, tell them. They told me you are the best around here.
What can I do for you, sir?
I want my own very simple. I don't want any shine. If I see any shine.
Actually, I'd love some sequins on my skirt. And I don't like any frills.
I beg, I want frills on mine. But it must not be too tight.
Tight! That tight now, that is what I want. And the transition.
Oh, you know what? I want a gown.
Me too. I want to come to
You know what GMS are doing this for coming? Hey, did you capture all the information?
Of course not.
Actually,
Fantastic.
I give my customers what they love because everyone has their unique style. So why should they wear the same thing? Just like MTN for me, which gives unique data and recharge offers just the way you like it. Just dial *121# and turn up great offers every day.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back. This is CNN News. Uganda has admitted another 4,000 refugees who were fleeing conflicts in neighboring Democratic Republic of the Congo. A Ugandan top official says the country needs more funding to cater for the new refugees, 44 of whom have tested positive for Covid-19. Uganda's Minister for Relief, Disaster and Refugees, Hilary Onek, said his country's action the day before Saturday's World Refugees Day was as a result of thousands of DRC refugees who were stuck in the no man's land in Zomba district in northern Uganda. He said the 4,000 refugees have been moved to a school away from the border and are being screened. He said if no funding helps come from the international community, Uganda may have to return the refugees to the DRC as it cannot afford the cost of hosting them. As Nigeria's resident doctors call off their strike over better conditions during the COVID-19 pandemic, Tunisian health workers are starting their own strike over the same issue. Underlying these strikes is the ravaging coronavirus pandemic. Correspondent Adni Chawoji reports from Tunis.
Felah Harhimi is one of the leaders of the healthcare protest movement. The emergency medical worker says his colleagues are underpaid and overstretched. Felah claims Tunisian medical workers are treated as ordinary civil servants while they are on the front lines of the war against the pandemic.
We are here to demand our rights. Medical workers have made many sacrifices for the health sector during the pandemic. This is our duty as Tunisian soldiers. We claim legal status as employees in a high-risk sector.
Tunisian medics and nurses expressed their anger. They marched for miles and staged a sit-in near the Ministry of Health. Protesters waved slogans reflecting the alarming situation and the high prevalence of discomfort in the healthcare sector.
We are risking our lives without guarantees or incentives. Many of these healthcare workers stayed at hospitals for over 1 month without going home. The state must treat us as heroes and listen to our legitimate demands.
Dr. Mourali, the head of the medical committee at Rabta Hospital in the capital city Tunis, said that anger has been mounting for months. The protest movement started in March due to accumulated debts and supply shortages.
The unrest is the consequence of the extremely serious financial difficulties at public hospitals. We lack the financial resources to pay the medical equipment providers. We are working in disastrous conditions.
Hospitals in Tunisia did not shut their doors as coronavirus cases surged. However, this unprecedented sanitary crisis has revealed the strengths but also the weaknesses of the healthcare system in the North African state. The Ministry of Health has declared that depleting resources are adding pressure to the healthcare system in Tunisia. Public health professionals are now calling for the improvement of their working conditions, especially in this period of health crisis.
Somewhere in the world, every second of the day, news is happening. And of course, Nigeria is bustling with news day and night. That is why ANN doesn't sleep. Our eyes are peeled, wide open, so no story escapes our radar. We stay abreast of world events and happenings at home. We keep you up to the minute in the world of sports. We give you information to stay on top of your investments and all the hard facts you need to navigate your day. If you miss us on air, you can keep up to date on our website and on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. We are ANN, Africa News Network. We do news right. in a truly African spirit.
These last 2 years have been topsy-turvy for Ghanaian football. The professional leagues have been mostly non-functional as a result of scandals and investigations, and the coronavirus pandemic piled on more blows. Now, a debate is raging on whether to restart the professional leagues and how. Nabil Ahmed Rafai has the story.
After 2 years without competitive football due to a corruption scandal, the 2019-2020 Ghana Premier League was off to a good start. But the excitement was short-lived when it was suspended in March following the outbreak of the coronavirus. There's been mixed reactions among club managers about whether to resume the league, as they have done in places like Germany.
Clubs have expressed their opinions on the matter, and the overwhelming feeling from a lot of clubs, at least that I am aware of, is that perhaps we should curtail the league based on a lot of factors that the clubs have put out there. But the FA also has business implications to weigh, obviously, and that seems to be what they are looking at the moment.
Ghana has already missed the deadline given by the Confederation of African Football to decide whether or not it will resume the league. However, the medical committee of the FA has recommended that football could return if it's played without fans at the stadium and players are tested for the coronavirus before matches.
What is going to be very difficult is the other recommendation that players must be tested on a weekly basis. Now, you have to remember, those tests are not cheap. Now, who is going to bear this cost of the testing of the players? You go elsewhere in England, it's the Premier League that is doing it. Over here, the GFA, the rumors are that the GSA will attempt to shift that cost back to the Premier League clubs. And these are Premier League clubs who already don't have sponsorship.
Football analysts say with Ghana's football at a standstill, many players have already lost interest in the league, and the FA should consider a fresh start next year.
Cancelling the league outright will mean that they will miss out on payments from the TV rights holders, because a chunk of the games wouldn't have been aired by then. And the GFA right now, these clubs desperately are in need of money. But I think that, in my opinion, I think that cancelling the league outrightly and restarting will be the right thing to do.
The decision by the FA on whether or not to cancel the league will have a huge impact on the lineup for the 2020-2021 CAF Champions League and Confederations Cup competitions. The Ghana Football Association says it will take a decision on the future of the Ghana Premier League on June 30th. They say they will need to consult with government and health experts on whether to continue or cancel the league, but some want the GFA to decide sooner.
When we return, international news. The World Health Organization announces biggest one-day global jump in COVID-19 cases. And later, sport. Japan sets to withdraw Women's World Cup bid.
You are watching ANN.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. The World Health Organization has reported global COVID-19 cases has jumped to the highest single-day number that has ever been recorded since the pandemic began. 183,000 new confirmed cases were added on Sunday. WHO officials have always pointed at the Americas as the focal center of the outbreak. That region posted a one-day increase of 116,000 cases. Brazil confirmed 55,000 new cases, while the United States recorded more than 36,000. India was third with 15,000 new cases. Increasing case numbers in more than a dozen American states have been attributed to more testing and a real spike in infections. The U.S. leads the world with more than 2 million infections. The country has conducted more than 25 million tests. U.S. President Donald Trump held a campaign rally on Sunday in Tulsa, Oklahoma, against the advice of medical experts that such a gathering could become what they called a super spreader event. A large percentage of those present at the rally wore no mask and disregarded social distancing measures. The rally attracted a dismal number. The city's fire department said only 6,200 showed up at the arena that was meant for 3 times as many attendees, way short of what campaign officials had thought would be hundreds of thousands more. Trump's advisors said the president was stunned by the lack of turnout. The New York Times reports thousands of young persons who had no intention of actually attending the rally organized as a prank and online sign-up for tickets. Their plan, which was to inflict turnout expectations, appeared to have worked. An outdoor rally for an overflow crowd was called off because just about 24 supporters were there, while the arena's upper gallery was largely empty. 6 staffers working to organize Trump's campaign rally in Tulsa had tested positive for the coronavirus, a development that is likely to increase concerns about the safety of the massive and high-profile indoor event. During his campaign speech at the rally, Trump boasted of his administration's response to the Covid-19 pandemic and blamed China for spreading the virus that has infected more than 2 million Americans and killed nearly 120,000. Before the advent of the coronavirus pandemic, many Venezuelans had fled their country to seek greener pastures in neighboring Colombia. Now they face a grim situation in the country as the coronavirus pandemic has shut many of those opportunities. Facing tough times in the country, many Venezuelans refugees have decided the best place to go now is home.
Terremoto is a Venezuelan migrant who has spent the last year and a half living in Colombia. Although she migrated here to live out a dream of a better life, the coronavirus pandemic brought it all to a halt. Now, all she wants to do is go back home.
I want to kiss my land, kneel before her, and never leave her again.
Lockdown measures have made it impossible for migrants living on the day-to-day to make a living. Jaibet is one of hundreds who can no longer pay rent, and now have decided to stay in a makeshift camp on one of Bogota's major highways. They have been here since May 29th, waiting for the government to send them to the border.
Here we feel united. Together we will rise up for one common goal, one dream, to return to our country.
Colombia's migration agency says the Venezuelan government has curbed daily entries by 80%, and Bogota's local government says they don't want to send migrants to the border if there are no guarantees they will be able to get through.
We're asking that a humanitarian corridor be opened in order not to congest the Cucuta border city and instead pass directly into Venezuela.
Jose Gregorio had spent 3 years in Colombia selling Venezuelan food and decorating birthday parties with his wife. Without work because of the pandemic, his only dream now is to be reunited with his 30-year-old daughter and 17-year-old son in Venezuela.
It's hard to hear your children ask every day, "Father, when are you coming back?"
Despite the hardships to migrate here and back, according to Colombian officials, 71,000 Venezuelans have returned to their country.
China's capital city of Beijing is trying its best to forestall a COVID-19 spread in the city. It's been 1 week since some infections were detected there, and frantic efforts are now underway to subdue their spread. As correspondent Lu Siru reports, Beijing has launched a mass testing campaign against the pandemic.
The scorching sunshine does a hot nucleic acid testing for the novel coronavirus in Beijing's Shijingshan district. 9 o'clock in the morning, Residents from the Babaoshan street are carefully lining up in the nearby park, waiting for a swab.
Babaoshan Street is the only place labeled as moderate risk in Shijingshan district, where one confirmed case was found recently. And officials say they plan to finish all the testing for all the residents on the street, that is more than 60,000 people, in 3 days.
The effort is part of a massive screening campaign across the capital aimed at detecting those with evidence of exposure to COVID-19 to cut off the further spread of the virus.
I thought it would be fast to take such a test, but in fact, I spent 3 hours queuing up for the test. When I saw the doctors, my heart sank, because their protective goggles were all fogged and their sweat running all down over their faces.
5 other testing points like this are set to complete the task. More than 1,000 of government officials and medics work hand in hand every day to ensure a smooth swabbing process, although it only takes a few seconds to conduct a throat swab.
It's a work that needs coordination from all departments, from contacting residents to preparing the testing point and to taking care of the logistics. It's very difficult, but we want to make sure the testing is effective and efficient.
Now the testing point is available for more than 1,000 test takers per hour. To control the possibility of cross-infection while taking the sample, authorities only allow residents to enter the testing area in small groups. Those who have high temperatures or other symptoms of COVID-19 are advised to take inspections separately.
So far, the sampling has been going well. We have taken more than 20,000 samples. On one day, Saturday, we took more than 10,000 samples at this testing point alone.
The cost of this round of tests is all covered by the government. The test results will be available in 2 days after the swab and can be checked online with individual codes.
Up next, sport. Japan sets to withdraw Women's World Cup bid. Please stay with us.
You are watching ANN.
We are on the road every day, canvassing throughout Africa for news you really need. We follow this story everywhere, from every corner of Nigeria to the wide African expanse. We bring you what's making headlines. We connect you with news you can use. ANN, African News Network, in a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. In sport, professional tennis player Grigor Dimitrov has tested positive for COVID-19. His announcement on Sunday also led to the cancellation of an exhibition event in Croatia where top-ranked Novak Djokovic was scheduled to play. Dimitrov is ranked 19 in the world and is also a 3-time Grand Slam semi-finalist. He is the highest profile player to contract the virus. Japan has dropped out of the race to host the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. FIFA Council will select the winner at an online meeting on Thursday. Colombia is now the only rival to the Trans-Tasman joint bid of Australia and New Zealand. That is ANN News this evening. Thank you for joining us. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Have a pleasant evening.